So, what would you do if you lost $18,000 because of the rental scam? And in today's video, I'll show you what really happened in San Francisco, and I'll kind of dissect it so that we can see where it went wrong. So, hopefully, you can prevent that and you don't become a victim like him and losing $18,000. And may suggest some ways to maybe vet them so you don't become the victim. So let's watch this video
San
quickly.
Francisco's rental market is the hottest it's been in decades. So when Alvin Tran found this two-bedroom in Duboce Triangle, he moved fast. It was posted on Craigslist and Zillow for $6,200 per month. Same photos and description. He submits inquiries to both sites and only heard back from the Craigslist listing via email.
So one thing to note here is that it's so easy to copy and post any kind of postings, whether it's rental or for sale items. If you see on like Zillow and Craigslist and Facebook, you wouldn't be able to tell which one is which because it's so easy to copy it. That's one thing I want you to note. And then he only heard from the Craigslist inquiries. So when he made the two inquiries to Facebook, the Zillow and Craigslist, only thing came from Craigslist. So that's something that you have to make a note.
They were asking me a lot of details, which made me think that they are the owner and looking for well qualified applicants. So I felt good about what I was walking into.
It was signed James Dunlap, the name of the property owner. Shortly after, he gets this text and email saying, Alvin, I was overwhelmed by over 70 inquiries and I just can't get everybody in to see the place. Can you swing by at 11:30 a.m. and take a look? Jim Bassowino is the real property owner, and he did not send that text.
I was already in the area, so I stopped by.
Alvin says,
So what went wrong here is because he actually met the owner during the open house. And what's really smart on scammer's part is he basically used a very popular listing and he saw that it was having an open house. And so the weak link is that he only got communicated through the Craigslist. So when he met the real owner, he probably thought, oh yeah, I've been, exchanging email. And in this case, even he tried to like verify, oh yeah, I sent you about this email. The real owner would not be able to, differentiate between 50 other inquiries, right? So there's a tons of people contacting. It's pretty overwhelming when you get like 20, 30 inquiries on just one item, one product. So there's no really easy way to differentiate. So it went like that. So that's why I could actually see that why he got scammed. And I don't know if I would have made I would have caught the issue, but I could have been easily the victim. But
many groups
let's watch this
attended
video.
the open house. Jim, the real property owner, was there giving tours.
I didn't notice anything was off because the apartment was real, the person seems very knowledgeable, so I thought I was there for the legit open house from the legit posting.
Jim says he only made 10 to 12 appointments to show the listing through Zillow.
And how many people showed up?
At least 40, I would say.
Wow.
So he made about 10 to 12 appointments through Zillow, but about 40 people showed up. So 40 people doesn't mean it's all individual parties. They come with their friends, their family members. So there could have been additional 10 more groups that were potentially directed by the scammer through the Craigslist. So they probably knew about the same message, right? So the 10 more groups, they could have been the victims actually. And in this case, there's no like a rule for a scammer to take the security deposit from one party. So there could have been two, three other victims in this case, which if they come forward, they wouldn't know about it, right?
Neither of them realized any issue at the time. The Craigslist ad wasn't mentioned. Alvin submitted an application and soon received what appeared to be a standard California lease agreement. He wired more than $18,000, made plans to move, and even gave up his apartment. Yet the day of key pickup, crickets.
And then the next morning, when I got confirmation that it was indeed a scam, I was devastated.
And the real Jim had no idea he was being impersonated until Alvin contacted him.
It's unfortunate. I wonder how many other people got scammed. because I actually had over 100 inquiries within a 24-hour period on that particular flat.
Meantime, the property owner says in the future he plans on putting a clause in the post making it clear this listing is only available on a particular site like Zillow, for example.
So that could help. I mean, if the landlord says on the bottom or at the front of the description, this posting is only legit. I'm only posting on Zillow or Craigslist or Facebook. And if you see anywhere else, that would be the scam. That would be a good one. And in fact, there has to be some kind of differential or the remarks that people can put in like that. But in this case, I'm just thinking out loud here. If the tenant, when he went to the open house, if he asked for his business card, um, that would have prevented, right? Because um, he could see the different email address. Maybe he could have contacted him through directly via text. In some cases, before you send that money, I think it's reasonable to ask for identification, like government issued identification, which is like driver's license. I don't think landlord will be opposed to it, not to show it to every, candidates, every, tenants, but the one that he picked, one that who's going to send the security deposit. If I'm the landlord, I wouldn't mind showing my, driver's license. Here's me, and this. Well, obviously, I'm wearing Shawn Realty shirt. I'm like, my face is everywhere, and my phone number is everywhere. So if I was the landlord, it would be pretty hard to fake me. However, if the potential tenant didn't ask me for my phone number or email, business card, it's pretty easy to believe that Craigslist's contact is me. You see, that's where this scammer did really, really cunningly well, because he basically used a system. He just swooped in to become the one contact that this tenant actually met at the open house. So that's the end of the story, but it's so unfortunate. The guy lost $18,600. That's a lot of money lost, and he lost his apartment to, hopefully, the current apartment. Hopefully he at least can stay there a little bit longer. But in this case, it's very sophisticated, thing here. So to give you some ideas, there may need to be some kind of real estate agents getting involved in more of the rental side, because let's say I currently don't do rental, but if I do rental, I become the open house host. When you come and see me, you're going to identify my face with my profile on Zillow, my website, all the social media. You can easily text me directly because my phone number is out there. But let's say if I work for a property management company, that may not be as obvious, but there may be like the agent page in the property manager company's website that you can verify. So yeah, I mean, just asking for identification, asking for, hey, I sent you this, did you get that? And then, establishing two different ways of communicating, maybe three, including phone call, text, and email, and do all those things. I mean, before you send in that money, you can just do one. That's okay, I suppose. But don't believe that one email or one text or one phone call is it. So if you can multiple ways to verify who they are, that's the first thing. And don't be shy to ask them for identification. In fact, when I go meet home buyers for the first time, I normally sit down at a coffee shop and we talk for an hour. I get to know about what they're looking for. I want to know about their lifestyle. So I can actually find the right property for them. And in that process, I can kind of figure things out. They meet me, so they know who I am. I never show anymore. Show up at a house. Hi, I'm Shawn. Nice to meet you. Let me open the door for you. I'm not that agent anymore. I did that when I was a rookie before. But even when I was rookie, before I opened that door, I asked for their driver's license. Because if they're lying to me and they try to scam or do like steal things at the property, they wouldn't be able to. Maybe they would, but at least what I did back then was I was taking photos of those IDs and sent it to the office, because there is a safety issue for realtors too. Realtors get hurt during showings, and so it is a policy that I let my office know I'm meeting. But I don't do that anymore. I meet them in advance first, vet them first. I went them go have them go through the pre-approval process. So when the pre-approval process happens, they pull their social security number, and so it's pretty safe there. So, in my opinion, maybe it's a good idea to have like a real estate agent get involved, maybe property managers get involved, company website identification. So, that's what I want you to think about. And then the other thing that may need to happen going forward is maybe escrow offices. The escrow offices are the third party entity when we buy and sell property. What they do is they basically be the third party. They gather the real estate contract and they take the earnest money, keep in their account, and then when they get the loan from the bank, they give to seller agent. So it's basically kind of utility company in the middle. Now, if the rental side of things, if they actually have escrow office handling the security deposit and verifying the identity of the renter and the landlord, something like this would be really hard to do. I mean, yes, it can still happen. There have been a lot of scamming. Even escrow offices have missed the real identity of the home buyers and sellers and they sent it to wrong. That happened before, but they're getting better as the scammers are getting better too. But before you send this kind of big chunk of money, the other thing could it be is like a two step money sending, right? So first step, you just send them just $1. Hey Jim, here's my $1. I just wanted to establish my wiring path that my just to make sure that my hard-earned money is going to you, not somebody else in some other country. That could be the other way. And really, it's multiple way to identify their, verify their identification, multiple way of face to face, even face to face. Don't believe that because the scammer could have been, hosting open house too. You never know. Um, and that could happen, right? So even you see someone face to face, don't assume that is the same person you've been communicating with, and multiple way, and check the public record. um I see what else can you do. So that's all I can think right now, but I would love to hear your thoughts on how you will verify before you send the money. um, Anything other than what I just mentioned. That's the only thing I can think of right now. But this kind of scam happens all the time, especially on vacant property for sale, even a property that is owned but not being used. And it's kind of like if the owner goes off for vacation for a month, they go in there and do this kind of stuff. And in this case, actual active rental property, they copied and paste the Zillow posting to Craigslist, right? And then they basically established communication line. I mean, it's pretty bad. It's pretty sophisticated too. And one thing that I like about the Facebook is that at least Facebook is where when you buy and sell, their real identity, I mean, their Facebook identity is linked. So they're a bunch of friends or, maybe some like mutual friends. But there's one more layer than the Craigslist. Craigslist is it's a crapshoot. I've actually tried to sell some items on Craigslist. The guy didn't show up, and then he didn't email me afterwards. But I feel like they were there next to me, and they somehow got into my phone by proximity, the NFC, is it? And I ended up getting see, somebody bought a like $1,000 item at Best Buy, and that happened right after that. So I suspect. So I don't meet anybody unless I set the communication through text, because text is harder to mimic. The local number, even out of state number, I can track that number if they do something bad, right? So that's the only way I would do like a marketplace selling guitars or something like that. But yeah, so I really wanted to make this video. I don't want to get a lot of inquiries about rentals because I don't do rentals right now. But this is it's basically public service announcement kind of video here. So hope that makes sense. I hope that this will help you to prevent becoming a rental victim, rental scam victim like this. So share this with your young family members who are in rental market. Right now home price is really high. It's hard to buy, so many people are renting, and you really don't have a lot of room to lose this kind of money. I mean, this is for some people, it's a whole year of savings, right? And so that's it for today's video. Please let me know if you have any better ideas. Thanks for watching. See you next time.